Have you ever felt like you're living an old script life, craving something more but unable to grasp it? You are not separate from the best version of yourself, the one that already has everything you dream of. In fact, you are mysteriously entangled with it. The vast field of energy is waiting for a signal from you. That signal isn't just what you want, it's who you decide to be. There is a version of you already living your dream life, and that version doesn't exist just in theory. It exists at a specific frequency. Have you tried to change everything from the outside only to face repeated disappointment? If your life feels stuck, if your goals seem out of reach, it's not because they are far away. It's because your current identity is still entangled with a version of you that doubts, delays, and self-sabotages. The moment you shift who you believe yourself to be, not just in your thoughts, but in your state of being, everything begins to rearrange. Most people never learn how this works. They spend their lives trying to force change from the outside in, hustling, struggling, pushing, instead of collapsing the identity anchoring them to the old life. Did you know that every moment you're emitting an invisible signal that shapes your reality? Entanglement explains why your energy affects matter, why your state influences outcomes, and why even your subconscious programs aren't operating in isolation. You are constantly broadcasting a signal into the quantum field. That signal isn't your words. It's your vibration. It's how your identity interacts with possibility. Quantum jumping is often misunderstood. It's not magic or escapism. It's a recalibration of identity that allows you to move between entangled realities. Realities where different versions of you already exist, waiting to be observed, activated, and lived. Do you know that feeling of being meant for more is actually a signal from your future self? You've already felt this. That moment you made a decision and everything changed instantly. That was a jump. That sudden shift in perception where you saw yourself differently, even just for a second. That was a timeline ripple. The gut feeling that you're meant for something more. That isn't fantasy. That's your future self leaking through the cracks of reality. In the quantum field, time isn't linear, it's layered. That means your future self can reach backward as easily as you can reach forward. You are in a feedback loop with the version of you who already made it. Are you unconsciously reinforcing what you desperately want to escape from? This connection is active right now. That's the code. That's the secret. The field doesn't need your effort. It needs your coherence, your clarity, your frequency to match what you're asking for, not with words, but with being. Quantum entanglement is not just a theory. It's one of the most well-documented yet least understood phenomena in modern physics. It means that two particles, once connected, remain linked so that changing one instantly affects the other. What no one talks about is its meaning for you, your consciousness, your identity, and your reality. You're not a single particle. You're a living, breathing field of consciousness. Why are your efforts to change being hindered by invisible forces from within? Just like those particles, you've been entangled not only with others, but with versions of yourself existing across timelines. Here's the glitch. Most people stay entangled with a version of themselves that is still surviving, holding on, still afraid, not by choice, but because they've been trained through repetition, trauma, and deep identity loops. What you remain entangled with, you reinforce, you broadcast, you collapse into reality. So when people say, "I have tried to manifest, but nothing works," the issue isn't their effort. It's that their deep, unconscious signal is still broadcasting from the version of them that doesn't believe. Are you unconsciously controlling your reality with a version of yourself you no longer wish to be? The quantum field doesn't respond to wanting or begging. It responds to frequency. Your frequency isn't determined by what you think for 5 minutes a day. It's shaped by what you embody every moment. You are the observer, and the observer collapses the timeline. But which version of you is doing the observing? That's the question most people never ask. And it's why most people never jump. Because jumping isn't something you do. It's something you become. You can't quantum jump into your dream life if you're still acting from a version of you that doesn't feel worthy. It's time to face the truth. To jump into a new reality, you must be willing to let your old self die. In the next section, I'll show you exactly how to begin re-entangling your field. Not just through belief or mindset, but through intentional identity collapse. That's how we jump, how we move, how we stop looping and start shifting. If this message resonates, it means you're remembering something, not learning something new. That's what happens when entanglement activates. You recognize something familiar yet forgotten. You've been entangled with a version of you that doubts, delays, and compromises. Are you ready for a life-altering method so simple you might overlook it? Now it's time to rewrite the observer. Every moment you are choosing which version of you is behind your eyes. Most people think they are their thoughts, habits, personality, but all that is software. You are the one choosing the operating system and can reboot anytime. This is the key to quantum jumping, not becoming something new, but choosing to stop observing from the self entangled with limitation. The jump doesn't happen through action. It happens through collapse. This method has 3 parts. Witness, be present with the old self without judgment. Sever, declare, this is no longer who I am. And choose, embody the new identity. The job is just the beginning. Are you ready for your dream life to become your new normal? These steps are not a one-time ritual. They are a way of being. Every day, every breath is a reinforcement of the new entanglement. Over time, the field will adjust because it has no choice. The observer collapses the wave into a particle. Reality conforms to the identity of the observer. The version of you living your desired life is not a stranger. It's a memory encoded in your energetic field. A path still active, waiting for you to walk it.